So I started off with one MCO with my daughter 4 years ago. We had a lot of trouble being able to get all of our services done at one hospital. So we were going to two, doing two different programs. It started to be a big headache. So I kind of asked my doctor what the problem was. And they told me that it was because my insurance was not covering all of my services. So I switched my MCO to Maryland Physicians Care. I was able to take all of my care to one hospital. All of my appointments sometimes were even on the same day, same location, parking, travel, everything was definitely closer and more convenient. She basically checked in with anything my doctor told me, any notes that happened at my doctor's appointments, any updates, changes. She was able to explain everything down to the science, what needs to be done. Everything that I really wouldn't have information on from just going to a 15-minute visit at the doctor. That was what my nurse was there and available for. Being in doctor's offices or hospitals, they give you a lot of medical terms, things that you don't understand. They typically overwhelm you with a lot of information. And I feel like being able to take that information and debrief it with her made it a lot more comfortable and understandable. She definitely was like a reminder for everything I needed to get done, such as how important it was to get your teeth checked when you're pregnant. Honestly, she was a therapist without being a therapist. I definitely went through postpartum depression with my daughter. So unconsciously, she definitely helped talk me through that. She helped me prepare for everything to bring my son home. I even spoke with her when my child was still in the NICU and I was home. She was open to contact her even when we weren't scheduled to have conversations. I was definitely upset that we don't talk anymore, but I definitely think it's an amazing program. She was basically my best friend. I mean, honestly, it was the best conversations we could possibly have. I do think that it would be useful for even people who aren't high risk, just people preparing for kids. It was a beautiful, beautiful program. Being as though my son was in the NICU for 13 days, they would do at-home weight checks where they come, they check, his basic vitals, and then they do a weight check to make sure he's gaining and not losing or not staying too stagnant for too long. That was something that Maryland Physicians Care offered from him being in the NICU and with the issues that he had in the NICU, just to make sure that he's still on the right path between the doctor's appointments. It made me feel like, someone cared. They weren't just sending you home with someone from the, intensive care unit. And we're nervous, we're like, okay, we don't want anything else to go wrong, or we want to make sure we're doing everything right. So for them to send someone to come to your home, especially during COVID, of course, not having to constantly go to the doctors, for them to send someone home, or someone just here to say, hey, everything's fine. You're doing everything right. He's growing, developing the way he's supposed to. So it was definitely a good benefit, I would say. And I was not aware that something like that even existed. So it was really cool for that. So the Pacify app is basically once you have you can use it before, but it's once you have your kid, there's a nurse practitioner, there's a doctor, and there's a lactation nurse. And I used it for the lactation nurse. But basically with the app, it's like a 24/7 service where you can speak to someone live on audio about practically anything. Honestly, if you woke up in the middle of the night and your baby was coughing, you wouldn't be able to call. And a lot of times it's not much that they can do at the hospital for an infant anyway. So it's kind of just like getting that reassurance and getting those, they kind of just comfort babies. So finding out what you need to do just to keep them comfortable and safe at home without having to take them out. And then sometimes people don't have the means of transportation to even get to the hospital. It's for something simple like a little cough, So just being able to call and, get that information and be able to stay within the safety of your own home is very, very beneficial. I feel like as far as being a mom, MPC is a great insurance because the things that you typically wouldn't think of or the things that you normally forget, they're already calling you to make sure it's done. So I feel like MPC is definitely great with updating. They're really great with communicating. Once again, they have a great team. MPC definitely keeps you on top of things. And once again, they communicate great and they have amazing benefits.